week ago, the last city lights sank behind the horizon. Since then, only water, wind, and the slow, hypnotic math of waves. And now, through fog, something rises that shouldn't be here. A mountain, punched straight out of the South Atlantic. This is Tristan da Cunha, and tucked against those black cliffs is a town so isolated that nearby becomes a meaningless word. Edinburgh of the seven seas, the settlement. The closest inhabited land is over 2,400 kilometers away. No airport, no quick rescue, no casual weekend trip. For the next 24 hours, we live inside the most remote town on Earth, hour by hour, until one question stops being poetic and becomes scientific. What does isolation do to a place? And to the humans who refuse to leave? Because this island isn't just remote, it's alive. The sea decides whether you're allowed in. Tristan has no deep water harbor. Ships anchor offshore, and if the swell is wrong, you simply don't land. A small boat slaps over the chop toward a strip of beach beneath cliffs that look like a wall built by gravity. Above us, Queen Mary's Peak, over 2,000 meters of volcanic rock and cloud. And then the town appears. Neat houses, green patches, one road, and the feeling you've stepped onto the edge of a map. Edinburgh of the seven seas sits on a narrow plain, just enough flat ground to exist between the ocean and cliffs that rise roughly 800 meters almost immediately. This is not scenic trivia. It's a constraint. The island is small, around 11 kilometers across, dominated by a central volcano built from stacked lava flows and explosive deposits. Its activity is linked to a hotspot, not directly to the mid-Atlantic ridge. So the town is wedged into the one place where the island briefly relaxes. And the last time the island didn't relax, everyone here had to run. In 1961, earthquakes swarmed, rockfalls hit the cliffs, and lava erupted on the plain near the settlement. The entire population evacuated, first by ship, then to the United Kingdom, before returning in 1963. That fact changes the way you look at a quiet street. Every fence is also a survival story. Isolation doesn't just mean far, it means no margin. 10 minutes of walking, and you meet the island's economic heart, the water. Tristan's main export is rock lobster, called crawfish or crayfish locally, caught in cold, productive seas and sold to the outside world. But if the sea is your economy, what happens when the sea refuses to cooperate? On most of Earth, supply chains are invisible. Here, they're a countdown. Scheduled ships run from Cape Town, and passenger capacity is tiny, often up to about a dozen people on these vessels. No airport means time is measured in days at sea, not hours in the air. And the physics behind it is brutal. Wind generates waves. Waves decide landings. If the swell is too high, the island is effectively closed. Remoteness is a system. Weather plus waves plus limited infrastructure. Just outside the houses are the potato fields locals call the patches. Dark soil on volcanic ground. Here, agriculture isn't a hobby, it's risk management. When ships are delayed, fresh food still has to exist. Volcanic soils can be mineral-rich, but that doesn't mean easy farming. Wind can flatten crops. Salt spray can burn leaves. Rain can arrive sideways. So the fields are placed where cliffs give a little shelter, another quiet negotiation with physics. And the most surprising thing about Tristan isn't the landscape. It's the number of people who make it work. Tristan's population sits in the low hundreds, small enough that most people know each other's voices, not just names. One community, one settlement. In big cities, anonymity is normal. Here, anonymity is almost impossible. That changes behavior the way gravity changes water. Small social systems tend to stabilize through cooperation. because repeated interactions punish selfishness. You can't reset your life with a new neighborhood. The island remembers. Isolation doesn't only separate you from the world, it also binds you tighter to the people beside you. A name, a place, a promise. The settlement's name comes from a royal visit in the 1800s, but locals call it simply the settlement, as if naming it anything grander would tempt fate. A school, a small hospital service, government buildings. Modern life, thin, functional, stretched over volcanic ground. Yet Tristan isn't cut off the way it used to be. Not anymore. In September 2024, Tristan gained a new high-speed satellite internet link, strong enough for live participation in high-level meetings across UK overseas territories. Think about what that does to an island built on delayed communication. Distance stays the same, but time collapses. The island doesn't move closer to Earth. Earth moves closer to the island. And when time speeds up, what happens to a culture designed for slow life? There's another link to the outside world that feels almost surreal. Tristan hosts monitoring stations in the CTBTO's International Monitoring System. Hydroacoustic and infrasound sensors that can detect phenomena in the oceans, including signals from underwater nuclear explosions. The reason is pure science. Far from busy shipping lanes, the ocean here is quiet enough that long-range acoustic waves stand out. The island isn't just watching the world. In a way, the world is using Tristan to watch itself. An ecology that matters globally. Step outside the village and you hear it. Birds everywhere. Nearby islands like Gough and Inaccessible are UNESCO World Heritage Sites because their cliffs and slopes host some of the most important seabird colonies on the planet. Albatrosses, petrels, penguins, species that depend on rich marine life. Remote islands become evolutionary laboratories. Isolation reduces gene flow. Unique habitats force adaptation. Endemism blooms. But isolation has a dark side. Fragile systems break fast. On Gough Island, introduced house mice have been documented as a severe threat to seabirds, with conservation reporting warning of major impacts on breeding success. In a place this remote, fixing damage is harder than causing it. Every solution must cross an ocean first. Isolation protects nature, until humans import the wrong passengers. As the light drops, the settlement gets smaller. With only one village on the island, social distance isn't an option. At this scale, cooperation is not an ideal. It's infrastructure. Reputation becomes currency. Conflicts can't be escaped. They must be solved. But the real test of isolation arrives at night, when the ocean turns into a black wall. After dark, the horizon is empty. No neighboring lights, no distant roads, just stars and wave noise. In a typical town, emergencies escalate outward. Ambulance, hospital, airport. Here, escalation hits geography. The isolation isn't scenery. It's a psychological pressure gradient. And beneath that pressure, the island keeps breathing heat. Tristan's volcano is the surface expression of deep earth processes, a hotspot feeding magma upward beneath a moving plate. That matters because it suggests persistence. A hotspot can keep rebuilding land, layer by layer, long after a single human lifetime ends. You don't need to see lava to feel it. The island exists because Earth's interior is still shedding energy. Morning returns, and Queen Mary's Peak reappears like it's been waiting. Clouds peel off its slopes. Basalt ridges sharpen in the light. Edinburgh of the Seven Seas is isolated from humans, but it is not isolated from systems. Geology builds the island and threatens it. Ocean and weather control access and survival. Ecology makes the archipelago globally important and fragile. Economy concentrates on rock lobster, tying livelihoods to one marine resource. Technology can collapse distance without moving a single stone. So what is the most isolated town in the world? Not simply far away. It's a place where the planet's forces are louder than the rest of humanity. And after 24 hours on Tristan da Cunha, the mystery flips. The question isn't how people live here. It's why they choose to stay, on an island that can't promise them anything, except belonging to the edge of Earth.